We have a live caller, Alisha, on the other line from Colorado, and she's gonna, tell her story. So, Alisha, I'm gonna say go ahead and go with this, and let's get scared.
Okay, well, my experiences I know come from my dad's side of the family, and it all started with my great-grandparents. Now, they were Native American, and they were in some type of witchcraft. They did some kind of Native American witchcraft. I'm not sure exactly what they did, but I know from them, some of their daughters were witches. And then from them, they tried to get my dad to join in with them.
Oh no. Like a coven
And
or?
I believe so, and he refused to do that. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. So after that happened, he started having experiences, which then went from him to me and my sisters, my mom. Like, we've all experienced it down the generations.
Oh wow, are you from like the countryside of Colorado, the plains, or?
I'm originally from Colorado Springs.
Cool. And you said it was your dad's side that's Native American, Apache?
Yes, they are Hickory Apache.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it all started, is what I'm aware. I just recently found that out, and slowly we're connecting the dots. Like, okay, this is where it's coming from. And I remember he had some experiences that he told me about, which scared the crap out of me.
Let's hear some of them. What was the first thing that really scared the shit out of you before you experienced anything, and how did that make you feel?
I was scared. I was like, at first when he told me, I'm like, okay, that doesn't sound real. Like, I was kind of skeptic about it.
Yeah.
But I know he told me, and I never told anybody outside of our family about this story. So this is the first time, and he was riding in the truck with his uncle, and his uncle's wife was a witch. And he said they pulled up, they were somewhere in the mountains, and they pulled up, and his uncle says, look, there's your aunt. And she came out of the cave, but she was a wolf. She turned herself into a wolf.
Like a shapeshifter?
Yes. And my dad, he said he got so scared, he jumped out of the truck and he kept running
Yeah.
and running until he got home.
And you said she came out of a cave?
She was in there, and he's like, look, there's your aunt.
I think at that time we both can agree that if I seen anything come out of a cave, I would have shit myself.
Yes.
Let alone someone that turned into a wolf.
And I mean, he was scared, and I was like, oh my gosh, no way.
Where you could literally feel his fear when he told you the story.
Yes. And, I've known my dad, I never really seen him scared, maybe but twice. But when he told that story, he was just, I'll never forget it. Just the tone in his voice that he used, I could tell.
He was animated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's when you could tell old folks aren't bullshitting. You know what I mean? It's their entire, story is involved in hand signs and face, movements that are like, oh shit. Where you could feel how serious they are. That's how it was with my grandpa anyway. He just had a look about him, and then I knew he meant business. So I do have some info about you here. It says your father was a pastor. Do you want to dig in on that? Was he a Native American pastor, Christian, or?
So we were Christian. Well, they started out, I believe, in Apostolic Assembly. My grandpa was the pastor. From there, he moved to his own church, non-denominational. And once he passed, my dad took over. And through the years, like, when he became the pastor, that was actually before, a little before when my grandpa was still alive, and we moved up to Denver, is when the activity really, really picked up. And I think it could be because he said no. He didn't want to join his family in whatever type of witchcraft they were into.
Oh, God.
So
That's like a whole
we
nother
moved.
beast.
Yes.
I mean, like, were you aware of the activity at that time? Or, I mean, when you say it really ramped up, was that for everyone?
Um, not for me. My first experience actually started. I had two experiences prior to moving here. I'm not sure about everybody else. I mean, I know they had some here and there, but my first experience started when I was between 6 and 7.
Oh, wow.
I remember I got scared, woke up in the middle of the night, and I heard like a laugh. And I was like, I remember running to the back room and looking around like, what was that? And I got so scared. I got back into the living room. I laid down where I was sleeping, got under the covers.
And you just froze.
Yes, and I will never forget how scary that laugh was. It was scary.
Yeah.
Terrifying. And I was like,
Well, and it catches you off guard almost. Because you know who's supposed to be sounding like what, and then when you have something that comes out of left field, oh shit. And I mean, was that the first time that you were like, okay, I need to start being more conscious of my shit?
Yes, that was the very first time, and I was like, okay, something definitely is wrong here. And so from that house, we moved to my grandma's house when I was between 7 and 8. I was sleeping in the living room with my sisters, and I just randomly woke up, and I heard something in the kitchen. So I lifted up my head and I sat up, and I saw this guy. He kind of looked like the Quaker oatmeal man.
Oh no.
And kind of like George Washington, like he was dressed in that type of clothing.
Era clothing or whatever it's called.
And he was eating, and he was glowing green. And I'm like, I froze and I laid down and covered my head. And then a few minutes later, I looked and it was gone.
How'd that make you feel?
That was the very first time I seen anything. And from there, that's when I started to realize, okay, we have something going on here.
Yeah. Did you tell anybody about it, or how'd that all pan out? When you knew shit was going down and you knew about it now and you were conscious of it, like, were you afraid to say anything, or?
Well, I told my mom and my sisters, and they were like, you were probably dreaming. And I said, no, I was not dreaming. I was awake. And, in the same house, around the same time, my mom was in bed, and we knew things were happening, and everything had been all right. She's laying there, and she starts to smell this horrible sulfur smell, she said, like rotten.
Like rotten ass.
Yes. And she looked in the hallway, and she saw 3 figures, a huge one, a medium one, and a smaller one. And she said they went into my sister's room, which was across the hall from where she was sleeping. And she could hear my sister, like, something was smothering her. And she said she started praying. And my sister says she remembers when that happened. I was just scared just hearing that story. I know my dad was out of town working at that time, so my mom's like, I just prayed and went back to sleep.
She didn't go in there to help?
What was that?
She didn't go in there to see if your sister was okay?
I don't believe she did.
Ooh.
But she said she could hear my sister. As if somebody has their hand over her mouth.
So, I mean, my first instinct, I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't have moved either. Because the first time that I officially saw what has been, you know, following me around, there was one at the doorway, and then one walked like downstairs, and then there was another one in the back far room. And it was similar to that. And I just figured it was all one entity, you know, and a medium-sized one, a really big one, and then like a little one. And that was the only time I ever saw that or saw anything together at that point. And then when you see something like that, you're like, I'm clearly tripping out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is, I'm starting to lose it. I need to step back, take a breath. It took my breath when you see that. And it wasn't out of the corner of my eye this time. It was right in front of me. And I couldn't move. So I would definitely believe if your mom hit her knees and prayed, that would probably have been my first reaction. Because when you see something like that, I don't care what it is, and you know it's not people, what would you do? And you don't know until you... Yeah, me too, every time.
You freeze or you run.
Yes. And sometimes when you run, it feels like you can't run fast enough. And then I hide. I'll get under my covers today, and I'm 39 years old. And I'll just sit there, and I'll shake. It's a fear that I can't describe. It's an overwhelming rush, I would say, from my experience.
Yes, it almost feels like you can run, but you hide, but it's like always there. It follows you no matter
All
what
the time. Does it still mess with you today?
Yes, it does.
How do you deal with it?
I get scared. I mean, be honest, I'm 35, and I will not sleep in the dark. If someone's not with me, I'll leave the light on. Even if somebody's with me, I'll leave my phone light on. I just freeze, like, put the blanket over my head and just try to distract myself from it.
Music. Music. That's why I have music playing while I'm at home all the time. It takes my mind off the noises that aren't supposed to be there.
I kind of do the same thing. I sleep with my earbuds in.
Yep.
I always have them in. I sleep with my fan on, so it blocks out noises.
White noise on my TV. I do raindrops and box fan sound on continuous play. And I can sleep at that point. But if you were to ask me to sleep in silent in the dark, I couldn't do it.
Me either.
I'd have an anxiety attack every time.
I'm terrified, like...
All the time.
I'll turn my light on, and like I randomly wake up all hours of the morning and it's dark, and I'm like, oh my gosh, so I turn my phone light on, cover my head.
Now, does the smell hit you at all?
And that fear started back when I was 10. To the place that we moved when we first moved to Denver. We were the very first ones to move in this townhome. They had just built them. And when we got there, that was where things just went crazy. Like, it was the strongest at that place.
Did you do anything different?
No, which I think is pretty weird. It seemed to have calmed down. Like, it's still here, but it's not as strong as it was there.
How did you do that? I mean, did it just die down, or?
Well, it seemed to, and it doesn't really show itself like it did over there. Like, here, like, I'll hear things or I'll feel it. As back then, this seen it. My dad's seen it in different forms.
Do you think it's tied to your Native American side of your gene pool?
Yes, I honestly believe that. And then my sister, one of my older sisters, was kind of dabbling into witchcraft back then. And that made it even worse. So that's when I got the fear of sleeping in the dark. And one experience that scared me so bad is when I was alone listening to my little boombox. And that's when they had the little buttons, and then I had it on volume number 10.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned back down to 1 by itself. And I'm like, okay, so I put it back up to 10, and it went down. And we kept going back and forth, and I yelled, stop. And it stopped. So I got scared, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in the living room and do something else. I walked out of my room, and I turned. I was like almost to the front door, and I turned, and I seen it. And it went, I heard a noise like that.
Ooh, like a big gust of wind? Like
I was like,
I get that here.
I ran outside, and I stayed outside until my mom and dad got home. That was...
Oh, it's like a gust of wind, right? But you can hear it. Like somebody's holding a giant fan blade and just goes...
Yes, that's exactly what it sounded like. Whoosh, and I was like,
oh, yeah.
I saw the black.
And it's no fucking gust of wind from a window or a door.
Yep, it was right by the kitchen.
Now, did you smell it before that?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you smell it or smell anything before that?
No, I didn't smell anything. I was just scared when I was in my room, so I'm like, okay, let me go out to the front room, and that's when I saw it, and outside. And anytime I was home alone after that, I would leave the front door open and stay. If I heard anything, I'm going outside.
Right. Where people can see.
Yeah, and I felt safe. And, it used to mess with our stereos in the middle of the night. I remember, and I was afraid of the upstairs. At one point, my room was upstairs. We had 2 levels. There was nobody above us. And I was sleeping. Lights were out. My stereos were off. It turned on, and it went full blast. I jumped out of the bed, and I was standing. My mom and dad's room was directly across from mine. I was standing in their doorway, like frozen. And then we had a little bird, a little cockatiel. He started squawking, and I jumped from where the doorway was all the way onto their bed, and I scared him.
Yeah.
And my dad woke up, and when I jumped on the bed, he told me that he could see it looked kind of like a leopard-looking black.
Oh, wow. Like a
jaguar
dark, yeah.
Right behind me. And I was terrified. I would not sleep alone. I would always want to sleep with my sister, or I'd sleep with my mom and dad.
So it says here that you had stuff falling all over the house. I mean, I would love it if that's all I experienced. And I noticed that a lot of my activities, it comes in different waves. And it's like when it gets pissed, I actually see it. Or I'll hear it. It's amplified. You know what I mean? Do you have anything like that that's happened, or?
Yes, in that townhome, we would be downstairs, and I remember this night, my mom, my dad, me, and my sister were all in the living room. And upstairs, we had just moved in, and we could hear upstairs walking really hard. And nobody was up there. And my dad's like, "Do you guys hear that?" And that would happen all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
If it wasn't doing that, and slamming doors.
And was it mostly when you were alone, or did it just randomly come and go?
It happened to all of us. Like, if my mom and dad weren't there, something would either happen to me, happen to my sister. She actually saw it. I remember she was getting in the bathtub, and she said she seen a large black, it was like a dog, that went into my room, to my mom and dad's room. And I was like, wow. It seemed to come like in different forms when anybody's seen it.
So, I mean, would that be more tied to the Native American side, or do you think it's something evil? I mean, what I feel is not friendly.
I think it was something evil, honestly, because, you know, my other sister was messing around, you know, trying to practice witchcraft. They had a Bible that was I guess the devil Satanist Bible. They were messing around with it, trying to put curses on people. So where they did that in the closet was always cold, always. And the part that scared me the most is that whenever we would pray, my dad would pray, it would always come back.
So you felt the cold in the room?
Yes, it was always freezing in that room.
Was this a younger or older sister?
This is one of my older sisters. And I know it used to, like, mess around. Like, my grandma, she died, and I was getting ready to take a bath, and I heard her call me.
Oh, wow.
I heard it as clear as day. And I turned off the water, and I'm like, what? You know, she's gone. She's not here. How is that possible?
So do you think it was something that's tied to you positively, or is it a number of things, or?
I think it's a bad thing. I think, and part of me, I believe that because my dad didn't want to join them, maybe it's like, okay, well, if you don't want to join us, then we're going to torture you and torture your kids.
You really think your family would curse your own family?
I think it would be possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I really didn't know my great-grandparents. They passed away by the time I was born, but from what I've known, they weren't very friendly.
Yeah. No, hey, it's a long line of bad blood, and I think every family, at least that, you know, normal people would admit to. But I think it's an inherent thing. You got the good with the bad in every family. Now, I mean, do you think that cursed upon you, or have you had anybody try to actually come help?
Well, my dad, you know, they prayed, you know, for any curses that might have been on our family, but I think they missed something because it wouldn't still be happening. And now that he's gone,
had it got worse?
Where to go to or who to turn to, you know? I'm like, what do I do? Because everywhere I move to, it's there. And it's here now, where I live now.
Have you ever talked to anybody about it outside your family?
No.
Why?
I never thought, you know, I could find, like, I would never find anybody that would really understand or believe, you know, what I was saying, because some people will be like, what?
Yeah,
you know,
they think you're tripping, or you're telling a story to get attention, or...
Yeah, and it was nothing like that, you know, and in my family, I have a lot of pastors, ministers. I didn't really talk to them about it.
No, hell no, because then it's on the opposite end of the extreme. Then they think that, you know, you're doing something bad, and your sisters were doing witchcraft, and like, then they look at you like you're a complete nut job, and you got what you deserved.
Yeah, so I kind of just, and I'm not the only one that still experiences things. My sisters, they still do till this day.
Do you go through a hard time in life in general? Do you notice that when you're having a rough go at it, does it seem to be worse for you?
Yes. And even like when I try to, I'll pray or, try to redirect my thoughts or whatever, it seems like
It gets worse.
It gets worse, yes.
Stands in the way almost?
Yes, and like the other day I felt my head being pushed into the bed. I was asleep, but I felt it when I woke up. It let go, and I was like, oh my God.
It gives you that anxiety, like no one would believe me anyway, so I almost didn't. You almost try to make yourself not believe it. But then it's like the more you ignore it, the worse it gets. And then I notice, for me anyway, shit starts to fall down around me. So I have to find a comfortable medium to where I don't mind coming home at night. Because again, I'm here all night until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning by myself. And I stay on the phone with Rob or Search and just talk with him, take my mind off of it until I can pass out. But then I do notice when it starts to go good, it's still there anyway. It's just not as prominent as when I'm really going through some shit.
That's really interesting. I wonder. I would.
Go ahead.
Do the same things. Like I don't like to be alone. I'm scared too.
And we're grown people.
Yeah. And sleeping's the worst for me.
Yes. Why?
Because I'm afraid to go to sleep, because not only am I experiencing things while I'm awake, I also have dreams.
Yes.
And they're in my dreams, and I'm like, I wish there was a pill I could take not to dream anymore.
My dreams usually are sporadic. Okay, I don't always dream. I'm a heavy pot smoker. I think everyone in the world knows that by now. And from what I've heard medically, if you're a weed smoker, it blocks some sort of receptor from you being able to not dream. Well, I can verifiably tell you that's not the case, and I probably smoke a pound of weed a month. But my dreams are all over the fucking place. And lately, it's just like I'm sitting in a dark black room. I'm not afraid. I'm not happy. I'm just like blah. And I'm just sitting in there. And it's when I'm having those dreams, it wakes me the fuck up. And I'm in a dark room by myself, sitting there. And how oddly similar it is lately, that's the scary part. I'm almost afraid not having it make a ruckus anymore, because I don't know what it's like to have a normal evening. But it's the dark room that I can't figure out. And this just started happening, I would say, within the last couple of months. And you're the first person I've actually told that. So I know what you're going through. And if I thought you were bullshitting, I would definitely tell you. Just the way you describe, for me anyway, how you feel when you're alone. And then it makes you feel more alone, even though it's there with you. It's hard to explain.
And it's scary.
It is scary. So
I don't want to get emotional.
Well, I think we both understand. Have you tried to get rid of it?
No, I'm kind of scared too. Me
too. Believe me, it's not as easy as it looks like on the movies or everybody claims it to be.
Yeah,
it's not.
Some of those movies, they're trying to get rid of it, and it gets mad and starts.
Have you ever seen a scary movie where an exorcism worked and that person didn't die? Or was seriously fucked after that?
They die.
They die.
Like, it's scary, and I didn't directly see, but I've heard my dad, pray for people that were having, especially my when she was into the witchcraft, he had to pray for her like almost all the time. And church would let out at like 4 o'clock in the evening, and they would have to take her into another room, and we'd hear screaming, and it was going crazy, and they had to hold her down. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
I couldn't
And we were
mentally
there.
handle that. I would fucking die of a heart attack. Between you and me, you're not alone there. And I think a big part is why I'm not friendly sometimes. When I get home, I'm a completely different person than when I'm at work or out in general. And I've started to pick that up. It's like I'm irritable at home, and I'm snippy when I talk about it, because I almost don't believe the people who are trying to help. You know what I mean? Like, you come to my home, you ask for money, and then you tell me I have to pay you regardless, and you don't even come in 10 feet in the door. Now, I understand that there's people out there that don't understand and it is above their head. But in my opinion, aren't you supposed to be versed into that and somewhat to give me a comforting word? Because if I hear I need Jesus one more time, I'm going to lose my shit. How many times can you get on your knees and pray for somebody that you weren't even raised to believe that way? And that's everyone's solution. And anybody who's really about it, they're not going to be on a camera. You know what I mean? That's the last thing they're going to want to do, is put themselves out there the way I have and get that criticism. Ghosts to become the new UFOs until somebody comes out with proof that they're out with that. But even then, you're going to have skeptics. So when I started going through this, I was just like you. Like, I'm looked at very well in my community. Like, really good job. I'm a decent human being. And, the last thing I want to do at a barbecue is be like, oh shit, check this out, man. You know what I mean? Then you go from that cool guy that has a craft beer to, that fucking weirdo was showing me shit on his phone that looked insane. This guy's out of his fucking mind. He was telling me shit that made me uncomfortable. And that's a lot of people. Anything that people can't explain, it's either fake or you're full of shit, or they just don't want to deal with it. I was one of them. So it's hard for me to come home and have to deal with that scenario knowing that I'm alone, with it. Like, who in the fuck do I share this with? So there's a lot of people out there that felt just like we do. And I think that if we can get stories out there that are more prevalent, it might urge you to pick up your camera next time. Sit in a dark corner of a room with your camera on and just say hi and see what happens. I think most people wouldn't be able to do it personally. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I almost did that a few years ago. I had a camera, and I tried to set it up, night vision. Didn't work out.
No, because you wanted it to. And that's why, I don't have 10,000 videos, because it's not like something you can plan. And the more shit that you leave stationary, unless I do some serious provoking, I guess what they call it, and just hop it up, even then, 900% of the time I don't get it. But it's that when I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm consciously thinking that day, oh, fuck, I'm going to get you. I need to get this to the church so they'll believe me, and they need better proof. And then you catch it. It's not something you can plan for. Next time you're alone, and you start to feel weird, because if you're like me, I don't like to stare at my TV all the time. I'm on my phone a lot when I'm by myself. Press play right from wherever you're at and see what happens. And do that consistently until you see something that you don't want to. And then you have that for your sake, your sanity. You don't even have to post it. Don't even put it online. Catch it so you know it's not in your head. And that has helped. It has. Is it difficult to deal with after you acknowledge it?
Yeah, the thing that helped me, though, is knowing that, I wasn't crazy. Like, everybody else in my family was experiencing it.
Yeah.
And then for a while, I was like, back then, I didn't know other people experienced it or how bad it was.
Yeah, it was an unspoken event with me and Steve. And then finally we both sat down one day, and I looked at him, he looked at me and goes, last night was fucking crazy, wasn't it? I was like, you heard that too? I did. No, we're not going to talk about it. And we tried not to. We tried to ignore it. I mean, we'd see things pacing around upstairs in his level of the house, and it was just like, we know we're the only people out there. We were in the country. We had a giant barn, and we did private wrestling camps for kids because we're both very athletic and we're in wrestling our whole life. And you know, it helped out some of these private schools out here in Parker, like it just, we constantly had to have people around. And when we didn't, it was even then, but people from the wrestling team's parents, well, they wouldn't even go inside. You know, it gets to that level to where you have to address it. And I hope that, you know, you and I talking about it didn't, you know, amp it up for you tonight. But usually after these, I definitely hear something. It's always making its presence known in my home, especially when I'm by myself. But it doesn't seem to care anymore who's here. Rob flew all the way here from Missouri, and he got sick the day he got here. The day he got here, and we have a very interesting photo. Friday night, after all that problems that happened last week, I totaled my car. And it was a pretty interesting photo taken on the side of the highway, the smashed up BMW. And it's like everywhere I go, it's take a picture of me and just zoom in. And that's how I feel. It's like I'm almost used to it. Am I still afraid of it? Every second. Can I ever get used to it to where I'm not afraid? No, I'm not. But that's why I'm going out on the road, and I'm going to go looking for it this time. You know, on a lot of advice from very religious people that grew up in our neighborhood. So it's, you gotta find a way to exercise it, dear. That's what I've been told, and I've been through the run through with religious people and counseling, and nobody has real answers for you. And if they do, they want serious proof that a lot of the people they send to get it aren't willing to try to.
Wow.
Because if they're scared like you and I, then what help are they going to be? And that's what angers me, is like, you're supposed to be a person who deals with this, or is this all a fucking joke? You know, and I get pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk shit. Because why wouldn't I? You know, is this all a gimmick? Or is this...
I would too. I'd be upset too.
You know, you call somebody and they're like, oh yeah, and it's just a pitch to get me to go be a member of their congregation and give 10% of my earnings. That's what it boiled down to. Like, you got to give to receive, and it was like, that actually was told to me.
Oh my goodness.
So it's not very encouraging when you do try to reach out through that limited outlets that there are, because I don't like when people think like that. You know, I mean, if the world was perfect, everybody'd keep their fucking opinions to themselves. But let's face it, you and I both know that's not the world we live in. And I think we all need more outlets to talk about things that we need to get off of our chest, no matter how crazy they may seem to other people. What's crazy for, you know, us is normal for somebody else. And what's crazy for you and I is nowhere even on the same planet for some people. So I think if we all accept that and try to be decent fucking human beings, a lot of us wouldn't shut ourselves in. And it mentally has affected me. I don't know about you, but it's got to me. It's taxing.
It messed with my anxiety. I have anxiety.
Depression ever?
What was that?
Do you ever get depressed about it?
Oh yeah, I struggle with that as well. I even take medications for
Me
both.
too now. And it's not, we're not schizo. It's nothing like that. I'm not having any type of hallucination when other people in my family and my telephone catches it. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I started recording it, so I could get that out of my head, that I don't need to be fucking on psychotic pills.
It's real. It's very real. And it upsets me, you know, when you get those people that are like, oh, you know, they're lying, they're fake. How can nobody can fake something like that?
But at the same time, they say they believe in God. If you believe in God, then spirits absolutely exist. And if you believe in God, you have to believe into the devil. That's just a common fact. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. And I always say the devil's real and God is real.
Yeah. But then again, it's a controversial subject. You know what I mean? People like to bash on those for going through things that they've never experienced before. But there's a lot of shit that's traumatic that happens to people, like car accidents. Jesus, I don't think my mom, in all the years she's been alive, has even been in a car wreck, and I've been in probably 15 of them. I've totaled a number of BMWs in my life. It's kind of sad, actually. This one wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? And they just think I'm absolutely nuts. Like, how in the hell can you get in that many accidents? I don't fucking know. That's why they're called accidents. Is it so hard to believe that what happens to me is unlike anything that you have? That's why we're different. But I also believe that hauntings are like a thumbprint. They're all different. You know what I mean? I don't think that you can rationally sit there and say, hey, you can control this thing. It's like, yeah, eat a bag of dicks. Not in my situation, not in my life, not with the way I'm coded. I hide from it, dear. I hide. I hide in comments from you guys, helping me out. Like, I love my followers for that reason, is because it's a security blanket that makes me feel better at night when I go to bed. And that there's people out there that'll defend it. So I don't think that we need to, be afraid to talk about it anymore, per se. Because there's large communities out there. Jesus, look how big we are on TikTok. I think I have more followers than are the size of some big cities. And they're all people that think just like us. And I'm glad that we've got to talk about it because, I don't feel crazy after hearing what you've been through. And it's nothing crazy, like the house shakes and shit like that. The loud banging gets really loud where you can hear it outside of the house. I'd say that's the worst thing, but, to this point, I haven't, been thrown through a window or seen my fridge levitate. Nothing crazy like that. It's the subtle gotcha moments that really affect me, and it sounds like it does you too.
Yes, it's like I can't ever forget all of that.
No.
And I'm scared. I'll admit it, I'm scared of the dark. When people see, and I'm like, you don't understand. I'm like, you can't just switch it off and forget about it.
No. I mean, I think there's different barriers or different types of people that can handle that kind of stuff better than you and I. I would say that we're sensitive to that kind of stuff. And I'm going to go on a journey. I'm actually taking 2 full months off of work to try to put myself in situations to help me get more balls with dealing with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I am fucking terrified, dude, to go out on the road this far away from home. And I've got pictures everywhere I'm at with something in them. Lots of them. And to put myself in line's fire, if I can't handle that, then I don't know what the hell I'm going to do because I've exhausted everything else. I'm tired of having strange religious people to my home to tell me the same thing. It's above them. And, face your fear, face your fear. I'm fucking 39 years old. I don't want to die of a heart attack. But if that's what it takes so where I can either get a better understanding of it to get it the fuck out of my life or learn how to deal with it better, I am willing to try anything. 2 full months, I will not be punching a time clock for my employer so I can go out and try to figure this out before I completely go insane. And I would say that the emotional roller coaster that I've been through, and I can hear it in your voice, it's a real struggle. It's like a mental illness.
It's scary.
Do your meds help?
What was that?
Does your medicine help you?
Not really. Especially the one for depression. That one, it doesn't really do anything. The anxiety, I'm on like the highest dose of that I can take on that specific medication. So I'm probably gonna switch.
Yeah.
And I have short-acting medications to help.
Instant. Yeah.
Antidepressants, and I'm just like, great.
I don't think what we're dealing with always needs a pill. I think the pills that I got are for anxiety and to help me sleep. And it takes the edge off for a little while, but it's almost like a panic attack that doesn't end. Once I get riled up from this, I have to tranquilize myself to put myself to sleep, or otherwise I'll be up for long periods of time. And I even tried to stop smoking weed, thinking, all right, well, maybe marijuana does affect my brain. And it was even worse. And there is no come down. You don't Jones for weed. I don't anyway. And that's really all I do. From time to time I'll drink sake, but even then I'll get carried away trying to go to sleep. And that's just to go to sleep. But I would say dealing with it over time, that's why I'm so active. If I spend too long in this house by myself, and I don't know if this is a natural thing, I do get depressed. I do get weird thoughts. And I know some of that's just in my head, I do. But it doesn't help when you can physically see something that other people won't come into your home because they've seen it too, and then you still think you're crazy. And that's the reality of it.
I think, the fact that you're going to go back and, maybe that's something I should look into researching more. If I could find out what exactly they were into.
Yeah, it wouldn't help or wouldn't hurt. But just get ready to run into a lot of closed doors. Right when you think you got one open, it closes right behind you. You know what I mean? And then you're still stuck in that limbo. But don't be afraid to reach out. You know what I mean? I'm a stubborn prick. I've been that way my whole life. And I've had to find a way to try to drop that. But when you're reaching out for help, as sincere as you are about it right now, take something to show them. It doesn't even have to be caught on camera because the likelihood of that is very little. You'll get it if you go looking for it, but you and I both know what that means.
Yeah, it's scary to think about. And, I just want it to go away.
Me too.
I've dealt with this stuff since I was a kid. Everywhere I moved to, it was there. This stuff.
It's amazing what you can get used to over enough time, right?
Yeah, and I won't sleep with my door open or my closet. They have to be completely shut. And that was, because I was sleeping. When I remember I was with my ex-husband at the time, and we had moved into an apartment, and we were sleeping. The windows were closed. Nothing. There was no air whatsoever. Middle of the night, the door slammed shut, and it slammed so hard, it woke us up. And then we had like an aviary with a bunch of cockatiels in the living room. They were going crazy.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I have to sleep with the doors closed. In the closet, the closet from the old place, with it being cold and hearing things in there, the closet door has to always be closed. Even when I'm in the shower, I can't close the curtain all the way. Because I'm like, oh, something's in there watching me. I had another experience in that same place, writing on the mirror while I was in the shower. I thought it was my sister.
Ooh, God, what'd it say?
It said, I'm going to get you, and it had an arrow pointing down. And I got out of the shower, and I asked my sister, did you do this? She's like, no. And even till this day, we're grown adults, she still says, no, I didn't do it. And I believe her. If she would have done it, she would have told me. And it was Halloween night when that happened, and I got so scared. I called my grandpa. My dad was at church that night, and I was terrified. And ever since then, now I have to shower with the curtain partway open. The door has to be open.
God.
Yeah, it's like you have to do different things because the experience is like kind of traumatizing. So I have to change the way I do this or change the way I do that because of the experience.
So I do have some bullet points here that I really wanted to ask you. It says that you vividly remembered your sister screaming for help, and your dad went running into the room to find a black ashy marks all over the wall, and it looked like a pentagram scratched into your sister's stomach. How in the fuck did that all pan out?
Well, it was early in the morning, and I could hear her. And my dad got up, and that was in the same room where she had done, the witchcraft stuff in the closet. And we went in there, and it was like it almost looked like someone burned a candle, like the shape of it, of the black spot.
God.
And we don't know where it came from. They tried to paint over it, and it came back. And on her stomach was like a pentagram was drawn. She's like, I didn't do that. And she was just...
Is this the sister that played around with witchcraft?
Yes, that was her. And she was freaked out, and I was like, whoa. And then, my dad told us, go in the other room. We went into the other room that was my grandma's. And pillows that were on the bed started flying off the bed onto the floor. And me and my younger sister seen that, and I was like, Dad. And that was a crazy day. Like, I'll never forget that. The pillow literally was on the bed and flew off onto the floor by itself, right in front of me.
Oh my God.
And I was
freaked out. So I have a list of questions that after reading everything, I'd hope you'd help me out with. So the first one I really had to deal with your great grandpa and being an Apache chief. I know that they're very spiritual people. Do you think that and your aunt and uncle practicing the witchcraft was like some like conflicting thing that may have blown over onto the family from his very strong native beliefs with another, you have to go out there looking for Wiccan. You know what I mean? These are people that dabble in some stuff that some of them know what they're doing and others don't. Just like any religion, I would guess. But I would say more on the Native American side, there's a lot of spirits that they dabble with. Do you think that it was just like a clash that your aunt and uncle's side won on?
I believe so. And I believe because my dad was like, no, I'm not getting into that. I don't want nothing to do with it. Maybe they were upset. I never got to ask him what happened.
Right.
What their reaction was when he said he didn't want to join them. And I think, well, what if that, because he said no, they got upset and, did something so all this could, affect all of us.
Right. And it did ultimately. Sounds like it.
Yes, my mom, my dad, I have 3 sisters. All 3 of them would see things, hear things, and it still happens to this day. My oldest sister, she sees things all the time still.
Oh, wow. Now, what would your dad do, if you don't mind me asking, that would help suppress some of this kind of stuff for you and your family? And was he aware of the witchcraft at the time when he would do these things to help you suppress it for a little bit that he could?
Well, he did. I don't think he knew. I'm not sure how he found out they were doing that. But, he would pray and use anointing oil. And it would work. Like, it would stop for a while. But the closet would never, that cold feeling and that would never go away.
Yeah.
In the Bible they had he took it to church. They tried to burn it and it wouldn't burn.
Oh, wow.
And I think, after that, he realized, okay, this is something serious. And he was trying to figure out why it was so intense. And I remember one point he was like, do you think these apartments were built over a cemetery or some type of occulted area, like back in the olden days,
Right.
He was questioning and we could never figure it out.
Yeah.
But, he would just pray and put anointing oils.
Right.
And
that kind of helped out.
So scared.
Yeah. And just his overwhelming belief in God kind of helped guard you from that. And that kind of leads me into my next question for you. It seems like I know for a fact that you and your family are very close people. Now, when you lost your dad, it sounds like you kind of lost your protector. Now, did things get worse after Dad passed away? Did anything ramp up after that?
Yes, we noticed that the activities kind of picked up then. Me and my sister, my older sister, and my mom, we all went to the funeral home to make arrangements. And my sister ran to the bathroom and she was having a panic attack. And I was like, what's wrong? And she's like, the doors to the funeral home were trembling. And I didn't see anything or feel anything. She's like, you have to pray for me. You have to pray for me. And I said, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to pray like that. But, I just did the best I could. And she finally calmed down. And when we came out of the funeral home, the whole entire parking lot, even on top of the funeral home, was a bunch of black crows. And then, not everybody would believe that, but, some people...
No, I believe me. I've seen weird shit like that too. Oh, man. Not normal stuff.
Yeah, and we're like, okay, that's really not normal. And that same night that he passed, actually it was like the next day, my sister, she lives in Colorado Springs. She came up to, get ready for the funeral. She was sleeping in his bed, and she just had this weird experience. She said she could see her breath, and it was just cold, super cold, and she felt like death was there for her. And I was like, well, what did you do? And she's like, I couldn't do anything. I was just frozen in fear. And, I she's like, I was just praying in my mind because that's all I could do.
It's almost like seeing a car accident. You're like, what the fuck? Did I just see that happen? And then you don't know what to do after that. Most people just drive away.
Yeah, it's...
I know exactly what you're saying. You're just like, what the fuck? Oh, God. I mean, you just got to find them now. I don't know what I'd do if my dad died and he was the one that was protecting me on that. I'd kind of been left in the dark with that by myself to deal with this shit. So, God, that gave me the chills. Fuck. Can you describe the black mass? And I mean, it says here that it would shape into different, shift or like shape shift for you. Was it always the same thing, or was it different from time to time, or?
Well, my dad, when he saw it, he said it looked like a jaguar, big, huge. And my sister saw it as a giant dog. I remember my dad was in bed one night, and I was in the room with them, and he said, he woke up, and he's like, you know what I just saw? And we're like, what? He's like, I saw a cat jump into the dumpster, and it came out as a woman in the dumpster. Like, we could see the dumpster from the upstairs window.
Uh-huh.
And then he said...
Imagine that. What the fuck?
Yeah, and I was like... And then he told us, my grandma had some old antique birds, statues of birds in the window.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the statues were moving and dancing. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, like it was come in different things. And my sister, my youngest sister, seen it, and she said it was tall, like as tall as the door. Big.
God.
So it was always different.
It's
And I
always
only
different for
saw
me.
that.
It doesn't turn into an animal. It's there, then it's not, or it'll just slowly walk away like, bring it on, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So at least it's an animal with you. I would almost rather it be that, because then I could just get a kitchen knife and open it up, but it doesn't do that for me. So it, at least it's going in that direction. I'm sure if you looked into shapeshifters for, from your Native American side, that would probably have some type of meaning. Might not even be that bad. But also expect the worst too. If you go looking for answers, you're not always going to find the ones that you wanted to hear. And I've learned that the hard way. Holy shit, have I learned that the hard way.
You even feel it, just the
Yes, I got goosebumps talking about it.
air.
Now I've got to ask, did you go to your aunt and uncle and be like, listen, you fucks, do you have any idea the shit that you did for me?
I've never met them. I believe they
Oh,
were.
you need to get on that. If I'm going to go, promise me this, I'm going to go to New Orleans and I'm going to march into that fucking voodoo shop and I'm going to have a bone to pick. And it's going to be convince me that this didn't happen type shit. You get a hold of your aunt and uncle and we'll meet back in the middle and see how that ended.
Yeah, and I'm like, somebody in that family on that side has to know something, because I believe they did pass. I'd have to ask my mom, the great aunt and uncle. But if they're not alive, I'm sure their kids are here. And I did those 23andMe ancestry things. And, I started finding people from that side of the family. So I started asking questions, and hopefully they know.
Yeah, tell them what you're going through. Be pissed about it. Be a dick. And just be like, listen, motherfuckers, you guys did some shit and I need to figure out how to go from here. I need to figure this out. And then I'll go down and face my fear and I'll hit it hard in New Orleans and I won't drink absinthe this time. I learned my lesson. And I bet you find out something that'll help you at least, because I'm not leaving that fucking town until I have answers, even if I have to turn it inside out.
Yeah, and hearing the story about when you went down there, when she touched you.
She was like she was trying to get my attention. And I wish I could tell you how that made me feel. It was like, oh my God. Worse than your mom catching you playing with yourself when you're in high school. You know what I mean? Like, that would just murder me if that happened again. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is on that side. But you should really try that, honestly. And then let me know how that goes. And you can watch how I act in New Orleans. I'll be respectful, but I'm not going to leave there without a better understanding. And they're going to do it on film. Everybody has a price. Figure out a way that you can leverage something with these people and see just what it is. If that helps you get a better understanding it, then it'll stop the torment, not only for you, which is big, but your entire fucking family. Give you another safety blanket at that point, because that's what I'm looking for, is just to know why. Or honestly, I think this road trip that I'm doing is to see if it truly is evil. Like I've said in many things, we all have pasts, and I haven't murdered or anything like that, but I haven't led a particularly righteous life. I haven't. And I don't think anybody really has, unless you're stuck growing up in a convent. And even then, those people go fucking wild, And I for a long time, I thought it was karma. I mean, what else? What the fuck would it be? It was like, you know what? If you want me, come get me. Just shit.
Yeah.
I'm not that bad of a person. I'm not. Never have been. But, I mean, have I been a prick? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, me and my oldest sister talk about it all the time, and I'm like, something is wrong. Like, we need to figure out what's happening here. where it came from and why is it still here.
Ask a lot of questions, and when they get harder to answer from some folks, then those are the ones you need to pay attention to, and that's what I found.
Yes, and that side of the family, they didn't get along with my dad or his siblings. I don't know. They didn't like each other.
Do you blame him?
I still haven't figured it out, but
If that was my family, I would have to say I'd strongly disagree, especially if I'm a preacher with members of my own family practicing witchcraft, especially if it was black witchcraft, because I've learned there are two. There's good witches and there's bad witches, believe it or not. And I'm going to find both. And I'm going to get some answers. Maybe they can help both of us at that point. Because if I don't get the answers in New Orleans, maybe you can get some answers from your aunt and uncle who like to dabble in things that ultimately probably raised your sister's curiosity about it to even fuck around with it in the beginning.
yeah, and I'm just like, I don't know where she got the idea, to do that kind of stuff. And I remember all of it. It was just my childhood of dealing with that crap. And it's scary. I'm scared. I'm not scared. He went with me when I stayed with my sister one time. And I heard it. It was banging loud upstairs. I stayed awake all night long. I could not sleep. I tried to wake up my nieces. I'm like, wake up. And they would wake up.
Time to bounce. Or wake them up just to be there scared with you. I do that at night. Anybody that's in here, if I'm having a rough one, I'll let them know. Wake them up. If I have to go through it, so do
my
they.
sister, she moved wherever she's moved. It's always there with her too.
So it sounds like it's stuck to all you, because that's what I've been told. It's stuck to you. It's stuck to you, and that's not a comforting thing to say to somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, just make my day worse, prick. Thanks. But if it's stuck to us, it can get unstuck, I'm hoping. Either that or I'll just pass it on to some asshole that wants it. I'm down with that too. Like I said, I think if we collectively find answers and talk to people who fuck around with that kind of shit, then maybe that'll help us understand it better when we're going through it. Because the world is full of knowledge. You got the Google machine that'll help you. And look for the posts that are the most wild and off the beaten path, and it might find, like I found, a lot of the craziest shit I've read was more like what I would believe rather than hearing some of these people who come at it with science, which is fucking collectively wrong all the time. So, I don't know. How weird is it that you're talking to somebody you went to school with and didn't even know it?
Actually, I remember when I first was familiar and I couldn't catch on.
Yeah, and then you got picked to talk to me tonight. That's weird. Still trying to wrap my head around that. Your sisters definitely know who I am.
I know who he is.
Oh man, the world is small even though it's so big.
Yeah, that's really crazy. I always feel like, what? No way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all get older. I look different a little probably, but probably not. I grew into my giant head. It's still big. But yeah, I thought that was a weird connection because I don't get anything about you guys before I talk to you, because I want it to be like a fly on the wall conversation that the viewers get to listen in on. And as you notice, I haven't answered any questions from them. It's just you and I talking, and that was a trip for me when you said that day, that we were having all the technical problems. And then I crashed a car the very next day, so it was like, well, shit.
Wow.
And Fort Logan was crazy. So many dead people there. So many dead people over there. But it's just, it's only attached to me, and I can honestly say it's been about 8 years now that I've consciously knew about it. Nothing when I was a kid, nothing growing up. I had a very good life as a child. No trauma, like no fucked up shit besides some of the friends that passed away while we were in school. But outside that, I had a good life. And, you know, we all go through ups and downs. I think that's just a part of it. Even more so, it's, you know, once you go through bad shit and then it starts to go away and other things didn't, that's when I was like, oh, fuck. And if you ask your sisters, I'm a very proud individual and I don't like to talk about shit like this. You know what I mean? You know how many people that are growing up with in our neighborhood that have no idea that I do this, and I keep it that way because I'm still afraid of the criticism and the judgment from the people that I grew up with. But I think that all that's done. We're grown people, and who gives a fuck what others think, what your opinion is, or what your life story is? Who the fuck is anyone to judge that? Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
If you don't want to listen, then shut the fuck up and walk the fuck out and kiss them on the head and say, "Mwah, you're gone. Okay, little kid, go away now."
Yeah, we had to deal with a lot of stuff like that, you know, like growing up as, you know, into a that had a lot of preachers, pastors. You know, people are just like, oh, well, you're supposed to be perfect, or you're supposed to act a certain way, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, we're all people. It doesn't matter, you know, we're not perfect.
No. We all walk
You know,
a different life, but we all wake up in the morning and open our eyes the same way and put on our pants the same way. And if you say you're different, well, then I hate to tell it to you. The world's going to show you in a very harsh way that you're not.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I mean, do you have any questions for me? I have launched a few of them here at you.
So, how do you, like, cope with the depression part of it?
Honestly, and I know this may sound cheesy, every day when I wake up, I thank God for opening up 2 gifts every morning, and that's my eyes. And then I look in the mirror every morning and I say, you're going to be okay today. Because you're not the only one that has problems. I can tell you that wholeheartedly, and it works for me. When I hit the bad parts of the depressions, I do breathing exercises on my iPhone watch phone. You breathe with the pulse, learn how to control your heart rate, and just know that you're not alone. If you need somebody to talk to or help, all you have to do is really look for it. And there's an abundance of help. I mean, look at my channel. Look at this. You know how many people I have that routinely check in on me? Do you know how good that makes me feel? And I don't even know them. But as long as you know that, you know, when you wake up, that at the end of the day, you were born alone and you're going to die that way, you don't always have to feel that way. And just know that you're a good person and tell yourself that over and over and over. And that's how I've been able to conquer some of my depression. Outside of that, I do fishing. I have very close friends like Rob and Search that I talk to tremendously. They know more about me than some of my best friends do that I grew up with. You just find an outlet, you know, and you have an abundance of people on this channel that you can talk to. And there's a Discord that you can join, that you can chime in on and actively help out with the channel and help us help other people just by spreading the word and having good conversations. I mean, you know me now. We're from the same neck of the woods. It's just you stick with like-minded people and you try to exit anybody in your life that's poisonous or toxic to you. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, but once you realize, dude, we're hitting the middle part of our life. And you're never gonna come out of your bubble unless you do it on your own. And believe me, hon, I battle with depression daily. But as long as I start my day every morning and tell myself that I love me and that opening up my eyes that day was a gift, then it puts me in a better mindset to approach my day. But you're gonna struggle. Be your best advocate for your medicine, because no one will tell you how you feel better than you. Always advocate for yourself when you're dealing with doctors that are prescribing medicines for you. And if you don't like it, don't do it. Medicine helped me. And just trying to stay positive every day. There's days I wake up and I'm just like, fuck this. But get into a routine. It doesn't even have to necessarily be what I do every day. That's just what helps me. But find a routine that's just around you every morning. So that way when you start your day, you're already on a good note. And exit all the people out that bring you down. And since I have done that, I'm a different fucking person.
That's awesome.
Does that make sense? I know it sounds cheesy, but hun, your sisters know me. I'm not that kind of guy. But I swallowed all my fucking pride and realized that, this life's a gift. It's not a right or a privilege. And I'm not bad.
My dad used to tell me the same thing. I would always run to him when I'm scared. He's like, there's going to come a day when you're going to have to be strong and fight this thing with the anxieties, with, everything that was going on with me. He knew about, and any time I would get afraid or deal with, this thing, he would help me pray. And he's like, you're going to have to learn how to stand up for yourself, and I'm not going to always be here to save you.
You have to. Right. And that's just in life in general. You're a female. Mm-hmm. You got to stand for yourself. You have to. Dad's not here anymore. You got to find deeper. Like I said, find a group like what we have. You're always welcome to come into our Discord or on our comments, or you have our email. You know how to get a hold of me. If you need to chat, you got my number. You shouldn't have to go through that alone. I think that the world would be a lot cooler place if, people would sit down and listen for once. And to deal with the depression, you just talk. That's why I'm doing this podcast. Talk about it. Let it out, because it's not easy to deal with. And that's in anything in life. If you can talk about ghosts with me, you can talk about anything with somebody.
Yeah, it affects people, it affects in different ways too.
Yeah, it does. We're all different. Just like our thumbprints, we're all different. We're all unique in some different way. Just identify what you're different at, hon, and exploit that shit to the world. Feel good about it. If you're battling depression, don't ever sit there and get stuck in your own heads. Reach out to one of us. Send us an email. Get into our chat. Get onto the Discord. Plenty of people out there that you can chat. I think every person that I've chatted with on this show still is very actively involved with the channel. You know what I mean? And we invite you guys to all do that. If it's something that you find a release in, then do that. But be your biggest advocate with these fucking medicines, man. You have to be. Because they'll just write me whatever I ask them for, and that's not helping me.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, you're feeling this. Here's a pill for that. Here's a different pill for this.
Exactly. But advocate yourself. Do the research. See what the possible side effects are for. See what it's prescribed for. Because there's certain pills that you can get prescribed to you that are for completely something else, but it also works for this too. Don't take that shit. If it's not helping you within that allotted time to where it's running through your body and it doesn't get better, you wing yourself off of it and you tell them you want something that's based off of your needs. And as soon as I did that, I didn't need to conquer the depression anymore. I needed to conquer the anxiety, which would lead into depression. As soon as I figured that out, is it perfect? Fuck no. There's not a pill that can fix life. But it is going to be something that can take the edge off and help you be able to process it better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, I have a therapist or whatever. You can't,
yeah, me too. He thinks I'm nuts. Kind of I am, but I'm good with that. I don't play with the full deck, and I'm good with saying that.
So I'm glad that I found this, channel, and
I'm glad you
Good to
reached
know
out.
I'm not
Fuck
alone.
yeah. I feel good after this one, I gotta say. And I know I'm not alone. And the way you describe it, and from everything that I've read here, I don't think that we're alone. And I would really ask you on my side personally, from you to me, talk to that fucking aunt and uncle. Pump them for a little bit of information. At least talk to their kids. You know what I mean? Try to
Mm-hmm.
weasel your way in there somehow. Social media, whatever it takes, to just try to sit them down and have a just a general conversation. Or sit that sister of yours down and say, what the fuck were you thinking in my closet? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, and just, look for the answers. If you go looking for anything long enough, you're gonna find it. And then call me, because I would love to figure it out with you. And I
Sounds
will
good.
absolutely stay in touch with you through this trip. And if I find out anything in New Orleans that, may send a shockwave through what you're dealing with, you'll be the first person I call for sure.
I appreciate that. Same here. I'm gonna, jump on and do some more research and see what
Just
I can find.
educate yourself and don't be stubborn like me. It's taken me 8 years to do what I'm getting ready to do this next 2 months, and I'm excited about it, but we both know that you're going to see videos of me running through walls to get the fuck out of somewhere. And I'm good with that. If you're big enough to stand in my way to keep me into something like that, then I will hand my hat to you if you can stand firm and keep me somewhere that I don't want to be. But yeah, if you could do research on your end and kind of just, like I said, stay in contact with us. And then, hon, if you're fighting depression and you need help or you need to talk, don't fucking ever hesitate to call anybody, especially us. We have a
I
good
appreciate
community
that.
on this channel, and it's only getting bigger every day. So be an active role with us. Thank you for sharing your story. We are doing in December. Name my bong, win a bong. So if you want to throw your name into that, just submit your answer and could get a sweet ass bong. I don't know if you've seen the live session, or water pipe, I should say.
Yeah, I did see that. That was awesome.
And then, yeah, you'll be getting one that's very similar to that if you win. And when we go in through New Orleans or whatever, we'll be going live throughout the whole trip. We're documenting everything from when I leave my front door to when I come back to it. Jump in, let us know what you feel. If you need a chat, you know how to get a hold of us.
Sounds good.
All right. So you get your butt out there and you do your homework, and I will work on mine. And hopefully a year from now, hopefully even sooner, if we could figure this out, we could nail it. And then we could start helping other people. But I can take some questions online if you want me to answer some of them for you. Do you want to answer any questions?
Yeah.
All right, guys. What's up, Lisa? Bongalicious. I like that one. She wants to take a couple questions, so I'll take a couple for her, and then we'll let her go. Hi. I don't get a lot of these comments showing up for some reason. Love you too, Search. All right, sweetheart. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thanks for being on with me tonight, and keep in touch with me, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, yeah, just email us later, and I'll get you something.
Sounds good.
All right. You have a good night.
Okay.
All
You
right.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. How was that? I'm going to go grab the bong. Hold on. Oh! Again, guys, submit your answers to the channel and you will get one of these bad boys for Christmas. All right, guys, thanks for stopping by tonight. It was good to see everybody. And yeah, we will be doing some more stuff this week. I got Rob here. I'm good, Alfred. How are you? That was a huge one. Monster hit, Jessica. Glad you caught me live. Thanks, Sarah. How was that for me, JB? We're talking with the last guest. Love it. Yeah, she's awesome. And oddly enough, she's from my small town. That was not planned in any way. Charles, what scares me the most? I would say waking up with something standing in me in my room and not seeing it. When I see it, that's not as bad as not seeing it. And everybody thinks it's a crying lady. It's not. It's laughing. I've listened to it 100 times over, and I don't think it's crying. Lisa, you were a trip. Glad to see you in here. My nipples are a little hard after that, or it's cold in here. Latest scary moment. I don't know. Watching Rob get sick the moment he walked in the house. Goofy, you were right. It's totally laughing, Alfred. I agree. Yeah, Rob got sick the moment he came in the house, like turned pale. He also tried to hit the monster here. But he's getting better. George and Jake, man. Lightweight. Lisa, if you only knew, I will smoke you under the table. Yes, it would. Let's stitch that one, and we'll have a smoke-off live. Maniacal laugh. Yes, Dino Shane. Love the name. Ayo, kind of suspect? Sus? I don't know. Puff, puff, pass. All right, one more. Jeez. I didn't want to get all baked on the interview with her. That would have been rude. I feel good after that one, though. She was a good guest. Yes. How is everybody tonight? Are we all ready for our Halloween? All right, Jessica. Jesus. So again, guys, if you're in, make sure you go out and check out my buddy Durban Paranormal's video. Love the guy. Gonna stay up late so I can talk to him. Rob's here, so we're gonna get online together. Also, go out and subscribe to his channel to get your name in the drawing for the Winnabong, Name-a-bong, Winnabong, or chandelier, or whatever we gotta say. Thank you, Zach. Oh, Charles, I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, Search might be here too. Well, will be. I don't think I can put my name in the hat more than once. Sure you can. Go subscribe to Durban Paranormal and that'll get your name in the hat again. Just got to throw a good name. Yes, see, Search will be. Thank you for clarifying that, bro. Throw your name in there. Go subscribe to Durban Paranormal. Good dude, great content. Helps us out a lot. I do whatever I can for them. It's good people. But this is what you'll get for Christmas if you help me name it. I'm proud of this thing. And I'm a grown man. And I love my weed. Some people love beer. Get beer refrigerators, great big beer mirrors. You get in a lot less trouble with something like that. Guys, leave recommendations to Rob and Search on what you think you should be able to do to win one of these for Christmas. I've got one. I will give one. Search, you don't count. You could just get one for Christmas. It's not fair. The Mangler. It's for Christmas time, guys. I will pick a winner. You got to put it down in the comments. Reach out to Search or Rob. A fine tipped marker. What's up, James? I'm good, bro. How are you, man? So again, hit the like button, guys. Is everybody ready for this road trip? Because I am fucking not. Nemesis. Then I'd just be afraid to smoke it, bro. I'm thinking something lovey. Like crazy. Why, thank you. Lisa. That big ass bong. It is a big. Road trip's coming. It's going to be a good one. 2 months off I took for this. We'll see if that was smart. Oh man, I wouldn't come into this house with anything remotely more than weed. Anything, oh man, that would be a fucked up trip. That might damage you for life. Dr. Feelgood. Yeah. Like a plastic surgeon type doctor. For like fake boobs and asses and all the other fake stuff people are getting nowadays. Man, I'm high. It's a good one. Cornbread muffin? Oh, man. We're going all kinds of crazy places, but Alfred, we are going to New Orleans, and I am going to have a word with some people there, and they're going to help me out. We're going all November, the whole month. The search is right. We'll be announcing all that. They're good, Sarah. It's something I got to do. Have you ever seen, because I got high TikToks? Nope, I have not, Cryo. I should check that one out. Alfred, you have no idea. They're saying, educate myself, and I'm going all out. I want to go into places where horrible shit has happened, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to see if what I got's evil, or because I'm going to be in presence where I know it was fucking there at one time. And if you get on the Discord, there's plenty of photos that I've got of me in places that would blow your fucking mind. So we're going to see. If this is a curse, then I want to make sure. I wouldn't take 2 months off of work to go and figure this shit out and go to some cheesy ass places, I'll tell you that. Fuck that. And will I get scared? You know I'm gonna. Man, I'm really high and you want me to go in the basement? Rob's here, you talk to him about it. A golem? Man. We'll see. We'll see. I know what I experience, and I want to put myself in a situation where I know bad shit's happened, because I know no bad shit's happened here or the last place I lived. That was a trippy night. And then you see it run across the mirror. That was the trip. I always see shadow like that, and it's never there. Oh, shit. Is it big? All right. Let me see what Rob's doing. Rob, you should come in here. All right, I'm going to go back there for you guys here. All right. He is taking a shower, and I am not going down there. I'm sorry. Maybe tomorrow or Saturday. Rob's here, so I'm too stoned to go down there. I just don't want to do that. Jack Black Rose. Yes, spook us. Oh, man. I can't. Maybe Rob will get on later. I don't know. I can't. Thank you, Bad Daddy. Bongacy? Ooh. You got to write that one down. You got to write that down. I got to give plenty of time. It'd only be fair. No, I am not alone. Oh, wait. Oh, damn it. I just don't want to do that. It's on Logan. The live should be on the channel. Yeah, let's not force me down there. That's not going to be good for me. We got a Jenna, that's not appropriate. I'm not going to go down there. I love you guys to death and I appreciate everything. And we're going to give you a hell of a show this next month. And we're going to see if evil really exists. If not, this is just a pussy ghost that likes to scare me because I'm going to put myself in some pretty evil ass places. So, Jenna, you're mean to me. It's not fun to me. Charles, I'm not down there enough to know, but I would say I imagine. Leaving the phone there. I know, man. They forget I just fucked my car. Oh, it was bad for me. But all right, guys. All the live is in today's video. Search, hit me up tomorrow. We have a lot to go over. We only have a week before we leave, so. Thank you, dude. Thank you. All right, you guys. I'll just keep sitting here and read all night. Well, I love y'all and have a good night, and we'll see you real soon.